SpaghettiNoob here. After working on my first Woodward Dream Cruise video, okay, the Woodward Dream Cruise video, I thought up of a whole bunch of other ones, a whole bunch of other things that happened or transpired from the Woodward Dream Cruise that I forgot to mention, or maybe didn't elaborate on in my first video about it. So I figured I'd make you know, a second video with some more stories on why it's a Dream Cruise and not the Dream Cruise. So the first one I kind of elaborated on. I kind of elaborated on, I don't know what's going on. I kind of elaborated on earlier in regards to. Oh yeah, they looked at the right idea. Is this guy gonna turn? Who's gonna let me go? Alright, what was I saying? It was about all the freeways being closed, or restricted highways. So, because they were all closed, I still had to take them to get to wherever I needed to go, or anyone really did. You just couldn't get off on any of the exits. So, because you couldn't get off on any of the exits, you were pretty much, you know, stuck driving on the freeway for miles and going out of your way. So what I used to do was, since I'm a motorcycle, I would just go through the exit anyway. Like I like usually wherever I needed to go, and I would just go right through the barricade and get to where I needed to go. But if you were in a car, I mean, game over, man. It's just, you would literally go like about 5 miles or so out of your way. I think that's where I got the 5-mile radius mess up that I had in the first video, because I remember doing it one time and I was 5 miles out of my way, and then, you know, 5 miles back to my destination. That was like 10 mile, like an extra 10 miles that I didn't need it to do. So the other issue was if you had to go to the hospital. Now this actually happened, I'm pretty sure it was my birthday, or around my birthday. We were celebrating my birthday, and we got these pastries, and I was eating a pastry and I felt something sharp go down my throat. And as we were investigating the pastry, there were like chunks of metal, not chunks, but like, I guess not really, chunks is too big. They're small slivers, that's more reasonable, of metal inside the pastry. And we kept the pastry aside. I think we actually took it with us to the hospital just in case they needed to look at it. But before going to the hospital, like, my family had the bright idea of maybe making me vomit. And the way that they made me do this was, hey, you should drink a whole bunch of salt water. I don't know if anyone has tried this, but don't try it. Is this guy gonna go? So, salt water will make you vomit, I promise. Don't do it. But what they don't tell you is salt is going to burn coming out. That much salt, that high concentrated salt, just destroys your throat. And I think I was more in pain from the salt than the actual metal that I ingested. So I think we recorded it. I don't know if I still have that video, but that's probably not a video to post. You know, it's kind of funny. Salt is crazy. That's like when your dog eats chocolate or gets into something. We usually use peroxide. We just give them a little peroxide, and within like 30 seconds, whatever they had just eaten comes up. Oh yeah, let's just come into the lane with the motorcycle. So we tried to go to the hospital, and the closest hospital was actually right up on Woodward, or near Woodward. So we actually had to, we checked like directions and traffic, and it turned out that it was faster to go to this hospital than any of the other hospitals because it was the closest, even driving through the traffic. And it took us hours to get to the hospital, because you drive in the cruise, you're going like 5 miles an hour, maybe less, just so people can check out your awesome car. Even though we weren't in an awesome car, we were in a regular car, just trying to get to hospital, maybe like, I don't know, 6 miles, not 6 miles, maybe 6 miles, maybe like 3 or 4 miles away. I don't remember if we got pulled over, or if we tried to drive on the shoulder, or maybe if we asked the police officer. Like, hey, we need to go to the hospital. Can you escort us? Or can you, what's the best way? But they wouldn't do anything. They were like, oh yeah, whatever. It wasn't like an emergency. Don't think it was necessarily life-threatening. And they wouldn't really do anything. So that was very disappointing. But the car ride there was just excruciating. It's like, why? Like, why is this event happening now? So, going to the hospital, driving in the Dream Cruise, when your insides are on fire from eating metal and listening to your family and eating or drinking salt water so you can vomit. And I vomited. It's just not a fun experience. There's just more of them. Another thing that happened one time is someone had physically moved my bike out of a parking spot. So we normally park on the street. The driveway wasn't big enough for all of our vehicles. And usually, whoever got home first, we would save spots for, our family members or our neighbors, especially during the Dream Cruise. So, in the Dream Cruise, everyone parks on the side streets and walks to the event, right? They just walk right up to Woodward. That's fine, except there's nowhere to park if you live in that area. So, one time, I usually park my bike in front of my car. I parked my bike in front of my car at first, but then I moved it to in front of my neighbor's house, just so I can, save a spot for my neighbor, or this guy's gonna go over there maybe, to my neighbor, or one of my family members. And as it turns out, at night, or somehow, maybe sometime even during the day even, I don't know, someone moved my bike out of where I parked it. I normally keep my steering column locked, but I do not usually put it in gear. So I was still in neutral, locked and parked on the street there. So I think what happened, or what they did is they just tried to move it to get a parking spot. And they just, put the bike on the two wheels and then just rolled it back. And I tested to make sure to see what they were maybe trying to do. So it ended up at the end of my driveway. And when I did the same thing. Like, I pretty much took my bike from the end of my driveway and I kept the steering column locked, and I just moved it and see where it would land, and it landed exactly where I parked it. So I think that's what they were trying to do. I also thought they maybe could have tried to steal it. That was a big fear, and like from there I got like super paranoid. I started chaining it. I started chaining it to my car. And then I started looking into different alarm systems, but these types of bikes, it's hard to get like alarm system. The best thing to do is get like a low jack. I looked up a bunch of different like low jack type or GPS recovery options, but all of those were like, they weren't foolproof. Like all you got to do is like run out of battery and you get to your last known location. Like they just weren't, it wasn't solid, you know. And then another idea is looking at disc brakes or disc alarms, where you connected this to your brake, like right on the disc, just how your calipers would hold and would go on your rotors, and any slight sense of movement will trigger this extremely loud sound alarm, very loud. And in order to engage or disengage them, you had to be fairly quick. I think it was like you had a 10-second window before you rode. And I was looking into this a lot, and I was like, I'm just going to just keep it in the garage and not try to save a spot anymore. So that one was a bit scary. Trying to, like, first thinking that your bike was touched, and no one touches another person's bike. You just don't do that. And it's so easy to steal bikes, especially this bike. Like, this bike is only like 350 pounds. Don't steal my bike, you guys listening. You know, like, bigger bikes will be heavier. I think when I first purchased the bike, it was close to 400 pounds, but with, you know, mainly the exhaust that I changed out, it made it a lot lighter. So I mean, it just takes like either like 2 people or 1 person in a ramp at night, or even during the bright daylight. No one is gonna confront someone else. Like, let's say you go, like, I've seen so many different videos on YouTube. There are people, most of them are in Europe, but I'm sure that happens in the US all the time, where people just go up to the other person's bike and they just steal it. No one knows. Like, all you gotta do is show up with, you don't even have to have this, but it's really easy to convince other people. All you gotta do is grab, like, wear bike gear. Like, have a helmet and a jacket. Have a helmet and a jacket, and go up to a random bike, do whatever you need to do to steal it. I don't know, you pop a screwdriver, I don't know, whatever they do. I don't steal motorcycles. And it's yours. No one will question that if it's not your bike. Especially, people won't even confront you. It's like the story about the Good Samaritan, and like where the Good Samaritan law came from. Like, people just won't do that. So those are some of the other things that happened during the Woodward Dream Cruise. I mean, in my first video, talk about some guy hitting a parked car, was drunk and had his little girl in there, and then having all the restricted freeways and highways closed off, and you can't get to where you need to go, going 5 miles out of your way. Having to go to the hospital during there, and then the no parking spots available, and then having your bike almost potentially stolen or moved for a parking spot.